Oh, hello there. My name is John McAfee.
An American tech mogul at the center of an international murder mystery.
American internet tycoon John McAfee is believed to be hiding in Belize after the murder of his neighbor.
John McAfee. He built a fortune creating the antivirus software that protects millions of computers around the world.
The prison cell was dark, silent, and cold. Somewhere in a corner of Spain, a man who once terrified governments and tech giants alike sat staring at the concrete wall. His beard had turned gray, his eyes hollow, yet still burning with that wild spark of rebellion. Hours later, John McAfee would be found dead, and the world would erupt with questions that still have no answers. Did he kill himself, or was he silenced? This is the story of a man who built an empire out of paranoia, a man who claimed to have hacked the world, and perhaps to have known too much. Chapter 1. The Origins of a Restless Mind. John David McAfee was born on a U.S. Army base in the English countryside of Cinderford, Gloucestershire, in 1945. His father was an American soldier stationed there. His mother, a British woman who would later bring him to the U.S. after the war. From the beginning, John was an outsider. When other kids played ball, he read books on math and electronics. When they made friends, he made experiments, wiring radios, taking apart gadgets, and once accidentally setting a curtain on fire while testing voltage levels. But the brilliance came with something darker. His father was abusive, a drinker, prone to violent outbursts. When John was 15, his father shot himself. That moment would haunt him for life. He never forgot the gunshot or the silence that followed. He once said, "That day, I stopped trusting the world." Chapter 2. Genius and self-destruction. John's mind was sharp enough to open doors at every university he touched. He studied mathematics at Roanoke College and was known as the kind of student professors loved and feared. The one who could solve problems faster than they could write them. But he also began experimenting, not just with computers, but with drugs. LSD became his escape, and by his mid-20s, his life was a chaotic mix of brilliance and addiction. He lost his first marriage, was nearly expelled multiple times, and yet somehow always landed on his feet. At NASA, he worked on early computer systems for spacecraft. At Xerox, he helped develop some of the first digital document technologies. At Lockheed, he worked on defense algorithms that hinted at his growing obsession: security. To John, computers were like people. They could be brilliant, but easily manipulated, easily infected, easily destroyed. He saw something others didn't yet, that in the future, the world would be run by invisible code. And whoever controlled that code, controlled everything. Chapter 3. The Birth of an Empire. In 1986, a new virus began spreading across IBM computers. The brain virus, created by two brothers in Pakistan. It was the world's first major computer virus. While others panicked, McAfee saw opportunity. Working from his small Santa Clara home, he began developing a program that could detect and eliminate such threats. Antivirus software, as he called it. By 1987, McAfee Associates was born. What started as a one-man project soon exploded into a full-fledged business empire. John McAfee became the face of a new digital frontier, the man protecting humanity from unseen dangers. But behind the calm marketing image was chaos. He ran his company like a cult. Employees recalled meditation sessions, drug-fueled brainstorming, and McAfee walking barefoot through the office, muttering about machines taking over. Yet his instincts were unmatched. As the internet age dawned, his software became a household name, installed on millions of computers worldwide. His company grew rapidly, and by the early 1990s, McAfee was worth over $100 million. But wealth never cured his paranoia. In fact, it fed it. Chapter 4. Escape into Madness. When he sold his shares in McAfee Associates in 1994, John walked away from over $7 billion in potential future value. People called it madness, but McAfee claimed he was escaping a prison made of zeros and ones. After cashing out, he began building compounds, first in Colorado, then in New Mexico, and later in Belize. Each new home was more isolated than the last. He experimented with new businesses, yoga retreats, flight simulators, even herbal antibiotics. But behind every venture, his paranoia grew. He believed the CIA was watching him, that his phones were tapped, that software updates were being used as spying tools. He told friends, privacy is dead, and the government killed it. Then, things got darker. Chapter 5. Belize. The Jungle Paranoia. In 2008, McAfee moved to Belize, a tropical paradise that became his final experiment in freedom. He built a lavish estate on the coast, filled with guards, weapons, dogs, and security cameras. Locals called it the Fortress. But soon, whispers began spreading through the island. McAfee's compound was rumored to host young women, drugs, and strange rituals. He surrounded himself with armed guards and hired local gang members as security. When a local businessman called him crazy, McAfee laughed and said, "You have no idea how deep this rabbit hole goes." By 2012, the paranoia had reached its peak. One of McAfee's neighbors, an American named Gregory Fall, filed a complaint about McAfee's dogs. Days later, Fall was found dead, shot in the head. The Belizean police named McAfee a person of interest. McAfee claimed innocence, but fled. What followed was one of the strangest manhunts in modern history. He dyed his hair, faked heart attacks, and posed as a journalist to cross borders. CNN reporters found him ranting about government assassins and death squads. To some, he looked like a lunatic. To others, like a man running from a system he claimed to have exposed. Chapter 6. The Fugitive Tech Billionaire. After escaping Belize, McAfee resurfaced in Guatemala, then in the US. He was arrested multiple times, but somehow always got out. He began appearing in interviews, shirtless, armed, surrounded by women and chaos. He launched his own cryptocurrency ventures, promising to free the world from government control. In one bizarre YouTube video, he showed how to uninstall McAfee Antivirus by shooting a laptop with a gun. Online, he became a meme, but beneath the spectacle was a message. McAfee believed the digital world was now the real battlefield. He said, "The war is not about bullets anymore. It's about information, and I've been on the front lines since the beginning." As his followers grew, so did his enemies. Governments, tax agencies, and private corporations began closing in. The US charged him with tax evasion. The SEC accused him of fraud. Interpol placed him on watch lists. But McAfee always said the same thing: "They'll never take me alive." Chapter 7. The Man Who Turned into a Legend. By 2017, McAfee had become something else entirely. Part fugitive, part philosopher, part digital prophet. He roamed the Caribbean on his yacht, The Great Mystery, posting cryptic tweets and videos warning the world about digital slavery. He talked about surveillance capitalism, central bank control, and how every phone, every camera, every chip was part of a vast intelligence network. Some dismissed it as paranoia. Others began to wonder if McAfee knew something the rest of the world didn't. He wasn't just ranting about privacy. He was calling out a future that sounded eerily like today. Facial recognition, data harvesting, government censorship. The man who built the first antivirus was now warning that no software could ever protect humanity from itself. But behind the rants, McAfee's health and sanity were unraveling. His bodyguard and wife, Janice Dyson, often described nights filled with fear. John pacing the deck, whispering about assassins, convinced someone was watching him through satellites. Still, he refused to slow down. He launched presidential campaigns, twice, under the Libertarian Party, claiming he wanted to wake up the sheep. He said, "I don't want to be president. I just want people to open their eyes." Chapter 8. The Crypto King and the Last Fight. In 2018, as Bitcoin fever swept the world, McAfee reinvented himself again. This time as the self-proclaimed crypto messiah. He claimed to know the future of digital currency. He promoted coins, predicted prices, and gathered millions of followers who believed he could see through the chaos. But behind the hype, the US authorities were watching. The SEC accused him of manipulating crypto prices through pump and dump schemes. The IRS wanted him for tax evasion. John laughed it off. He tweeted, "Taxation is illegal. I haven't filed taxes in 8 years, and I never will." But deep down, he knew time was running out. By 2020, McAfee was on the run again, this time across Europe. He was arrested in Barcelona, Spain, while boarding a plane to Turkey. The US had filed an extradition request. He was facing decades in prison if found guilty. In Spanish custody, McAfee's tone changed. He told reporters, "If I die in prison, I didn't kill myself." He tattooed the word "whacked" on his arm, claiming the US government was after him. His wife, Janice, said he was strong and optimistic in their last call. He promised her, "I love you, and I'll call you tomorrow." The next day, he was dead. Chapter 9. Death in Cell 13. June 23, 2021. A guard at the Bryans II prison near Barcelona found McAfee hanging in his cell. The official report said suicide. The cause, despair over extradition. But that explanation didn't sit right with everyone. Within hours, McAfee's Twitter followers flooded social media with theories. They pointed to his whacked tattoo, his warnings, his statements that he'd never take his own life. His Instagram account posted a single black image, the letter Q. Many took it as a reference to the QAnon conspiracy. Janice McAfee publicly disputed the suicide claim. She said John would never quit. He had too much fight left in him. Even the prison's camera system, reportedly malfunctioning that night, added to the mystery. To this day, the autopsy report remains sealed, and McAfee's body has not been buried. It lies in a Spanish morgue, unclaimed, waiting. For some, it's a tragic end. For others, it's proof that the story isn't over. Chapter 10. Conspiracies and the Ghost in the Code. After his death, the internet exploded with theories. Some claimed McAfee had dead man switches, secret files encrypted across the web, containing evidence of government corruption. Others said he faked his death entirely, escaping under a new identity. A few months later, a mysterious blockchain token appeared online, called Whacked. Its creator claimed it was McAfee's final message. No one could prove it was real. But in true McAfee fashion, the chaos only deepened. Old interviews resurfaced where he hinted at backdoors in major government networks. He once said, "I built software that still runs on systems today. I know what's inside." It sounded absurd, but coming from the man who invented antivirus, maybe not impossible. He had the knowledge, the skill, and the motive to plant something that could outlive him, a digital ghost. Whether that was true or just another layer of myth, nobody could tell, but it cemented his legacy, not as a tech CEO, but as a cyber age outlaw. Chapter 11. The Legacy of Chaos. John McAfee's story isn't about success or failure. It's about obsession with freedom, control, and the invisible systems that run our lives. He built a product that made billions, but he himself never cared for money. He could have been another Silicon Valley hero. Instead, he became its cautionary tale. To him, the world wasn't black and white. It was coded, full of hidden scripts, invisible forces, and backdoors in every promise. He once said, "Every time you log on, you give away a piece of your soul. And they don't even have to steal it. You hand it over willingly." For decades, people mocked his paranoia. But look around now. Mass surveillance, data leaks, spyware on every device. Maybe John wasn't paranoid after all. Maybe he just saw the future too clearly. Chapter 12. A man outside the system. Those who knew McAfee best said he never belonged anywhere. Not in business, not in politics, not even in freedom. He was a man wired for chaos, constantly building systems just to break them. When friends asked what he was running from, he'd say, "Nothing. I'm just running." He didn't believe in borders or laws, only in the idea that truth existed beyond control. He told one interviewer, "Freedom isn't living without rules. It's living without fear." In the end, McAfee's greatest creation wasn't software. It was himself. A myth that blurred genius and madness until no one could tell the difference. The man who started by protecting computers ended up fighting to protect the human mind from its own digital prison. Chapter 13. The Final Message. Months before his death, McAfee posted one of his most haunting messages. "You can't kill me. I'll always be here. In the code, in the stories, in the cracks of the system." For a man obsessed with being watched, he ensured the world would never stop watching. He left behind a trail of chaos, yes, but also warnings that now feel prophetic. Every password stored, every webcam light that flickers, every data breach headline, they all whisper his name. Because John McAfee wasn't just predicting the digital age, he was warning us about it. Chapter 14. The Legend Lives On. Today, McAfee's name survives in two worlds. In one, he's remembered as a paranoid lunatic, a fugitive who spiraled into madness. In the other, he's a symbol of resistance, the hacker who tried to expose a digital empire of lies. The truth probably lies somewhere in between. Like all great myths, McAfee's story refuses to die because he became something that every hacker, every rebel, every truth seeker fears and envies, a ghost in the system. And as long as there are networks to hack, data to hide, and secrets to uncover, John McAfee's story will remain unfinished. In the end, John McAfee was not a villain, not a hero, but something far more human. A man trying to outrun the ghosts of his past, even as he created new ones in his wake. The boy who watched his father die became the man who refused to be controlled. He built walls around himself, both digital and real. And in the end, those walls became his prison. But maybe that's the point. John McAfee's life was a mirror, reflecting the chaos of a world increasingly run by machines. A world where privacy is illusion and truth is encrypted. And perhaps, just perhaps, the real virus was never in the code. It was in us all along. If you found this story thought-provoking, subscribe for more deep, cinematic documentaries that uncover the hidden truths behind power, technology, and the human mind. Because sometimes the people we call crazy are the ones who see the truth first.